Om Shanti, greetings of peace. Hi everyone, I'm Craig, your friendly neighborhood substitute teacher, here to visit with you again on this series called Meditation at 8. The title of tonight's talk is Awareness. It all starts with awareness. And so I want you to be aware of a certain sentence. And here's the sentence. There's benefit in every scene that comes in front of me. There's benefit in every scene that comes in front of me. Now, perhaps you think that's easy, or you might think it's impossible. In either case, we'll put that away and we'll address that as time goes on throughout the class. But in order to have a chance of taking that thought and making it a reality, we have to clear some space. So, let's do a meditation. If you visited us last week, I gave a few little things to do physically to get ready with breathing. Well, tonight I'm going to add something more. Sometimes we're trying to meditate, trying to think, but the body is maybe tight and it bothers us and we're fidgeting around, and we're spending more time fidgeting than we are meditating. So maybe a couple little loosening things. So let's try a couple things, shall we? So take your left hand, put it outside your right leg, and start to twist. Put your other hand behind you, and then look over the shoulder behind you, just twist. Then drop your chin all the way to your chest, and bring it all the way around to the other side, and look. Let go, do the other side. Grab, use your arms to help you twist, drop the chin, and all the way over to the other side. A couple more things. Arms straight up, pull them back, open the shoulders up, look up, inhale. Exhale. One more thing. Grab the hands behind the back. Pull down. Pull the shoulder blades together. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to the chest. Once more. Inhale. Exhale and release. Last week I was seated on the floor. Today I've chosen to sit in a chair. So I like to sit, with my feet flat on the floor, feet about hip-width apart. Put your hands on your thighs and pull in the tummy and get the spine comfortably long. So, let's breathe now. First thing to do, taking a breath, open your mouth and let everything out. And just because probably you didn't get it all the first time, let's do it again. Inhale. Open your mouth, exhale. Now allow the lips to gently close, and we'll breathe in and out through the nose. It's inhale, 4 counts, hold for 6, then exhale over 8 counts. Here we go. We'll do that 3 times. Inhale, hold, slowly exhale through the nostrils over 8 counts. Repeat. Inhale. Retain. And as you're retaining, visualize yourself absorbing the energy of that breath. Exhale what you don't need. And one more time. Inhale. Retain. And as you exhale, feel that you're pushing all that energy right into the blood cells. Well done. So keep the breathing going. And I'm going to offer a few words as a commentary to help in this little mini meditation. Inhaling and exhaling. First word, silence. Just the word silence. Immediately feel the slowing down that's going on inside of you. Just hearing the word silence towards stillness. Silence towards stillness. It doesn't take long. It just takes a second to say silence. You can practice this anytime you want, just by saying the word silence. Om Shanti. So that gets us started. So before you can really learn anything, you have to have room or space, just like if you want your computer or your phone to take in more information, it has to have enough space to take on the information. And so what becomes so valuable is this, what I really value is the space that I have inside of me. And I try to watch very closely with what I allow in. So that's my number one awareness is, what am I letting in? What am I thinking about? Am I wasting any thought? Are all the actions that I'm doing necessary? How am I spending my time? So I'm kind of budgeting myself with how I think and act and speak and use my time. Let me give you that sentence again I said earlier. There's benefit in every scene that comes in front of me. Now you may just throw that out right out of hand, or you could just say yes to it, like, oh yeah, that sounds good. But really, it's true. There's benefit in every scene that comes in front of me. For instance, we've had this pandemic where we've all been quarantined, kind of like in a cocoon, like that caterpillar that's inside the cocoon transforming itself. And when we come out, we want to be able to fly, no longer crawling around. So maybe you've been able to use this time in self-reflection, but perhaps not. Perhaps you haven't had time to come to that realization yet, or you haven't had an opportunity to do it. Maybe you've been a first responder. But what we've all experienced is that everything has been this social distancing thing is a real thing. But what I have found is that the social distancing has brought me closer to people than I've ever been before. For instance, just the other day, I was on a Zoom call with someone from Brazil, Australia, India, and New York, all at the same time. I've never experienced anything like that. In fact, I'm closer to people than I ever have been before, and now someone in Australia is just as close to me as someone in the next room. So the social distancing has allowed us to be able to adapt if I choose to be aware to adapt to this new paradigm of connecting to people, that it could be anywhere, it doesn't matter. So that's one example that there's benefit in everything that happens. Never stop breathing. So, but in order to support that change and to support a transformation, and what I mean by transformation is, I need to change enough to keep my peace. If life is moving on and I can't stay up with it and I'm feeling dis-ease, then I know something has to change. So that's the number one awareness. I'm aware something has to change. And the main thing that has to change is attitudes have to change. My attitude has to change. It can't be the way it was before. It can't be the way it was in the 1950s. It can't even be the way it was in 2019. We're now in 2020. I need to have a clear vision. 2020 vision in 2020 is what I need. So I can see clearly and be aware of what I need to do. So I may not know. I give things a shot. Just like working these things here. I never talked to a phone before or looked at my own image in there and speak to people. But I have to adapt in order to maintain relevance. Whatever knowledge I have, if I don't know how to get it across in the new technology, it's useless. And therefore, I become irrelevant and I'm left by the wayside. And new people will find ways to adapt. That's what a true personal evolution is adapting to circumstance as I go along, because I realize there's benefit in every situation that comes in front of me, every scene that comes in front of me. I just have to adapt. So in order to change my attitude, I have to start at the beginning, and that is thought. Everything begins at thought. A thought continued over and over becomes what? A habit. So you go 1, thought, 2, habit. Habit repeated over and over again becomes attitude. brackets, personality, thought, habit, attitude, which leads me to destiny. So my destiny, destiny is the end result, starts with how I'm thinking. So my awareness is that the place where I make the changes is not at the place of attitude, because that's forceful. I change in the realm of thought by considering new thoughts, by trying to gain a new perspective. Let me give you an example. I've done a lot of flying, and one thing that I've always noticed with kind of a interest is as you're coming into a landing and you could see the ground and the blues and the greens and the water or whatever you're seeing, and it looks beautiful and peaceful. And you get a little close, you start to see like neighborhoods and everything, and the separate buildings and the pools that they have there, and everything still looks very peaceful. But then as you get to ground level, you realize that in each little edifice, things might not be so peaceful. Maybe in one house there's an argument, in another house a family member has died. Whatever it is, there might be turmoil, there might be peace, there might be nothing. There might be loneliness. Each one is individual. It's only from this perspective high above that overall it's peaceful, because I have the advantage of my perspective. So, especially for those who are going through something, like people could say, Craig, yeah, it's fine for you, but what about people that are worried about their jobs, or worried about their health, or how they're going to get a job, and how they're going to pay the rent? I empathize with that. But still, this is when it becomes even more important. I have to learn to find a way to see myself differently, which is, I would call that observation. I have to learn to become an observer, to step away, and that's what meditation is. It's an experiment with becoming an observer of myself. And what I mean by myself, inside how I'm thinking. When I'm in it, it's very difficult, because there's the emotions and everything, and then I might say something to someone and I make the situation worse than it is. But if I pull back and give myself a few minutes and observe myself from a distance, either from a distance or, even better yet, from a higher perspective, then I'm separating myself from the problem so that I could see it, and now it would be easier to see a solution. I have a choice, or maybe more choices. It may not come easy. I may have to practice over and over, but I guarantee this is beneficial. I guarantee this method is beneficial. So it's the power of the mind that creates everything. The power of the mind will keep you safe. The power of the mind will keep you safe. The key word there is power. If I don't have power, the mind doesn't keep myself safe. I need the power, and that's by using my mind in a worthwhile way. And that means I have to have space, and that space is always started with silence, i.e. meditation. So let's do another meditation. This time a little more. What I was thinking that I'll invite you to meditate with your eyes open and even look into the screen. You could look either at me, or there's something on the back wall you can look at, but to focus your attention on a single point throughout, because meditation is focused attention. That's what it is. So what I did is I experimented. I tried to adapt by putting a little commentary on a phone earlier today. So I'll just sit here looking into the screen and follow the words that come along. Here we go. I continue to breathe in and out. This breath signals my senses to turn the attention away from the outside world and focus inwardly. Immediately, I become more aware, but instead of focusing that attention outside, it just stays within. I'm aware of an energy flowing through the body. And from a single thought originating in the center of my forehead, I begin to draw that energy away from the extremities, away from the hands and the feet, inward, and upward, inward and upward, until it reaches a single point in the middle of the forehead, between the brows. A single point where thought originates, a point of consciousness, a point of light. I am a point of light, pure consciousness. I radiate light. I pulsate with peace. I experience this peace. I am this peace. I radiate light like a living lighthouse, empowered with divine energy. I radiate light. I pulsate with peace. I send energy of love in all directions. I radiate with light. I radiate with peace. I radiate love. I am peace. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Notice the change in the flow of your mind, how it slows down. There's space. I could recognize and distinguish thoughts from one another. So 2 things I'll leave you with. It takes silence and space for everything. There's benefit in every scene that comes in front of me. And then on the practical level, create a budget for the soul. Create a budget for the soul, for the powers that you have, the power of thought, the power of words, the power of actions, and the power of how I use my time. Just by looking, is this thought necessary? I remember one brother said years ago, what's a waste thought? Someone asked me. He says, a waste thought is, I go to a gas station, put in the gas, and then as I'm driving away, I said, oh, I should have put in premium. It's not a negative thought, but there's no need to have it. It's taking up space and using energy with no value. So use the power of your thoughts to budget them, your actions, especially your words. Is this word necessary? Why would I use this word to someone when this word might work better? And am I using my time in a worthwhile way? But in order to get to this place, we need to become aware of how we think, and that means I have to spend enough time in silence so that when something happens, I don't just react, but I can think and then respond. So I'll leave it there with you. It was great to be here with you. I hope to see you again sometime. Om Shanti.